plus an additional lap. So, your grid is as follows. Mike van Vugt will be on pole position. The current defending champion in this category will have Tom Heinertz from GKS Lemons Power alongside. Then it's a British row 2 with Daniel Ginchard and Matthew Higgins alongside for company. Jules Castro and Mylan Coppens round out row 3 ahead of Bart de Wit, Callum Voisin, Tom Adams and Chris Harnan, who complete the top 10. Row 6 is Kai Gielerts and Lars Zaynen in 11th and 12th respectively, ahead of Jeffrey Fixer and Summer Webb. Tom Breken, making his return to the BNL Karting Series this weekend, lines up on 15th alongside the number 214 of Maurice Schuring. Will Jenkins and Christian de Klein are on row 9 ahead of Danny Van Dijk and Flint Schuring rounding out the top 20. And the grid is completed by Bruno Mulders, Drake Janssen, Sam Bergstein, Jamil Rogers and Axel Hansel. So now we go on to the formation lap. So we'll see, hopefully, very good control from our defending champion, Mike van Vugt, who's running with the 201 this season. And he will have the 237 of Tom Heinertz alongside. So 3 different nationalities comprise the top 3 rows. So it's the Netherlands, the United Kingdom and Belgium. As we now start the latter part of the formation lap phase here. And it will be side by side, 2 by 2 here at Karting des Fagnes. So Van Vugt will have Heinertz alongside for company as they go through what is effectively turn number 9 into the right-hander at turn 10. And then into another right-hander at turn 11. It's a very, very technical part of the track before they then get the opportunity to open up the throttle, but they won't have that chance to do so yet because now they really need to get into formation quickly. So Van Vugt and Heinertz control the pace. Let's see if this is a clean start. They come through the chicane. Van Vugt on the left is on pole. Heinertz alongside. Do they go racing? They slow down. Are they going to go lights out? Yes, we do. And, well, I tell you what, was that a blinding start from Dan Ginchard? Yes, it was. He's up into second. Where's Matthew Higgins in all of this? He's round the outside at turn 2. I think he's just dropped back behind Danny Van Dijk. Chris Harnan trying to get a bit feisty. Oh, and he goes off. He clattered into somebody and has the right front broken. Well, he's got away with that one if he has. So Chris Harnan drops all the way back to the end part of the field. Meanwhile, Van Vugt now starting to pull a gap over Dan Ginchard from the UK. Tom Heinertz, I think, is going to be at least in 3rd position. Jules Castro will be in 4th. And then you'll have Matthew Higgins from the UK in 5th, or maybe even 6th position. Or could be that Bart de Wit might be factoring in as Van Vugt comes round to complete the first lap of this 10-minute extravaganza of Junior Max action. And we got the 226 of Bart de Wit, who is now up into 5th position. Now, where's Matthew Higgins? Well, Bart de Wit is in 5th. Matthew Higgins and Tom Adams are locked in a battle, and Mylan Coppens is coming along with them too. So whilst Van Vugt starts to canter away at his proverbial pace that we know him for, to the tune of a nearly 0.6 of a second, Van Vugt leads ahead of Ginchard, Heinertz, Castro, de Wit, Higgins, Adams, Coppens, Kai Gielerts and Callum Voisin round out the top 10. It looks like Coppens is getting very, very... I'm just trying to see who is battling who at the moment. It's a sea of colour here in Junior Max. But Van Vugt continues to lead the field. 8 minutes and 10, plus an additional lap. Dan Ginchard still sitting in 2nd place, ahead of Heinertz, Castro, de Wit, Adams, Coppens. Matthew Higgins has now dropped down into 8th position, ahead of Kai Gielerts, who's running in the CRG chassis. As well, it's definitely getting feisty between both Heinertz and Castro as the pair swap positions. Castro now goes in front of the 237 into 3rd place. And Castro has just signalled to Heinertz saying, right, let's get after Ginchard and let's get after Van Vugt, shall we? But what they've got to watch themselves for, they've got the likes of Tom Adams, Mylan Coppins, Matthew Higgins, and Kai Heelerts closing very, very quickly within their proximity. But Van Voost's lead was just over 7/10 of a second on the last tour. Could it be the case that Van Voogd will extend it closer to a second between himself and Daniel Ginchard from the United Kingdom? As Harnan really has not had the... oh, well, there's a real brazen move there. That was Tom Adams up the inside of Bart de Wit there, going into turn one. Mylan Coppins also trying to go through. Matthew Higgins there. Kai Heelerts is now with them. And then it's a little bit further back to Callum Voisin in the 235. And then just behind is Will Jenkins, Maurice Schuring, Tom Breken up into 13th now. So the Dutch driver now really trying to get a real foothold into Junior Max territory, as there are more changes for positions. Oh no, Relitz did not want that to happen. I think he just went on the back bumper of Bart de Wit there. I think Kai Heelerts was a bit unsighted and had nowhere to go, so that's really caught the young Belgian at a surprise, to be completely honest with you. Mike Van Voost's lead is now 1.1 seconds. Has he extended the gap between himself and Daniel Ginchard? Yes, he has, 1.4. And Van Voogd last time around did a 56.181, 1/1000th off of his fastest lap so far. So we got 5 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap to go. Van Voogd is leading and is just doing it as business as usual, looking to continue that winning streak. As there's more changes, Dan Ginchard, I think, has just been passed by Jules Castro for second, and that's a great move by the Belgian through turn number 6. And he's lost out also to Tom Heinertz. Right on the back bumper now is Tom Adams. So it's Brit versus Brit now for what is effectively 4th position. Mylan Coppins, Matthew Higgins, Bart de Wit, Kai Heelerts, and Callum Voisin round out the top 10. Van Voogd is gone. He has checked out already, and we're not even at half-time distance. But the absolute swarm behind Bart de Wit. Here comes Callum Voisin. Does he go up the inside? Yes, he has. He made it stick, but then Bart de Wit right on the back bumper of the Brit very quickly retakes the position, and well, Voisin really hung out to dry there and has been swallowed up a little bit. There's been a bit of contact. One of the Schurings involved, the 214. That's Maurice Schuring, who's really had a bit more pace now, having joined JJ Racing. There's an absolute swarm there. Tom Breken's in the mix. Summer Webb. Danny Van Dyke even there too. Oh, there's more contact. Oh no! 2 beached on the outside of what is effectively turn 6. And that's a real disaster for that pair. Now I'm just wondering, who was it? Now, who was it that came together? That looks to be... Now, is Tom Adams one of them? Could that be the case? So 2:01, Mike Van Voogd now has a real comfortable lead. And that lead is now extended to 2.3 seconds. No, it wasn't Tom Adams, my apologies there, but there were 2 carts that came together there. And that is the 235 that's just gone across the start-finish line. That is Callum Voisin, and that was Will Jenkins. So the pair came together outside of turn number 6. Not what the pair wanted, and that's really changed things. Tom Heinertz, in the meantime, has got back past Jules Castro. Will try to get as much distance clawed back between himself and Mike Van Voogd, who has just literally gone away and decided, you guys are going to have your own battle. I just want to go out there and win. And he's winning comfortably. So 3.5 minutes plus an additional lap. Van Voogd leads. It was 2.3 seconds. This time, it is now 2. Well, it's still 2.3. So Heinertz, Castro, Ginchard, Adams, and Higgins. So 3 Brits line astern. So Higgins has got past Mylan Coppins. Kai Heelerts looking a bit lonely, but is still in line for a top 10 finish in 8th place. A little bit further back is Bart de Wit, but Maurice Schuring has been on the move in the meantime. The Dutch driver now up into 10th place. And, well, Tom Breken now up into 11th. So good work from the young Belgian in the 2:08. Lars Zanen, Danny Van Dyke, Flint Schuring, and Summer Webb ran out the top 15. So the Schurings having a better time this time around here in the second round of the championship. But Christian Decline, unfortunately, has not taken any further part in this race. I think was one of the drivers that decided to call it a day or did not even start. Christian Decline actually started all the way down in 18th position. Not where you customarily expect, but there was a nice move there. That is for position. And I think Maurice Schuring has got past Bart de Wit through turn 2. So Schuring now on a flyer up into 9th place. Goes the Dutch driver. And ahead they've got Kai Gielerts. So Gielerts has got a bit of daylight, or quite a bit of daylight. So around about the tune of about 2.1 seconds. So getting into the latter fifth of this first Junior Max encounter, the first of 4 this weekend. As quick look over the shoulder as Jules Castro has lost out to Dan Ginchard. And also charging is Adams. Now let's just see. Times at the moment, Ginchard looks to have done the fastest, has just done the fastest lap of this race. 55.877. So Ginchard now really trying to go back towards to second position. He's currently in the position where he qualified in 3rd, but was nearly a 10th quicker than Tom Heinertz in 2nd position. The gap between them was just over half a second last time around. Has Ginchard been able to erode into that gap so far? We'll find out very, very shortly, and I think that is the case. I spoke with him earlier on this morning when I arrived at the circuit, and he said, yeah, the pace has been really good, been running in the top 5. He's running in the top 3 at the moment. Meanwhile, Van Vught comes across the line to complete lap number 10 here. Heinertz is now 2.1 seconds behind. Gap between him and Ginchard is still about, well, it's about 6.5 tenths or so. Jules Castro and Tom Adams round out the top 5. Then it's Matthew Higgins in the 275 that rounds out the top 6. Mylan Coppins still trying to keep in touch with the Brit at the moment. Kai Gielerts just keeping it cool and consistent in 8th place. But good showing for Maurice Schuring this time around. 9th place at the moment ahead of Bart de Wit, who started in 7th earlier on to this race. So the time is now expired. So next time he comes around, Mike Van Vught will take the final lap board. So here comes the 14-year-old from Voxham in the Netherlands. Casually looks over the right shoulder. Final lap it is. Reinhardt has extended the gap back to Ginchard. Well, it's been around about 0.6 of a second for the last few laps. But the battle that I'm really interested in is what is happening behind Jules Castro, because Matthew Higgins is really keeping in proximity with Tom Adams. This could be a very, very good race for the 275, but the 217 might have something to say about it. They're coming through into the second half of the lap. Van Vught really just has been able to cruise, whereas Higgins did actually try and attempt on Adams through turn 6. This has allowed Mylan Coppins going through into the mix as well now. This is the battle for 5th place. But Van Vught is going to keep that 100% winning streak alive by a comfortable margin. 5 from 5 for Mike Van Vught here at Mariembourg for the season, and the first one here of 4 potentially here at Mariembourg. Tom Heinertz takes 2nd ahead of Dan Ginchard. Oh, and there was a bit of a drag race to the finish there as Lars Zanen, I think, well, that was a drag race. Lars Zanen and Tom Braken were 2 1/1000ths of a second apart at the flag. So Braken missed it by a whisker to get into 11th position. But Mike Van Vught wins by a comfortable 2.3 seconds from Tom Heinertz. Dan Ginchard rounds out the top 3. Jules Castro in 4th. Tom Adams and Matthew Higgins nearly having a grandstand finale of their own in 5th and 6th respectively. Mylan Coppins and Kai Gielerts round out the top 8 positions. Head of Maurice Schuring, Bart de Wit, Lars Zanen, Tom Braken, Danny Van Dyke, Flint Schuring and Summer Webb rounding out the top 15, with Sam Bergstein, Bruno Malders, Jeffrey Fixer, Chris Haanen, Axel Hansel, Drake Janssen, Callum Voisin, unfortunately having that contact with Will Jenkins, putting them both out of contention. They were 22nd and 24th respectively, with Jamil Rogers And Azerbaijan rounding out 23rd position with Christian Decline not even getting past lap number 1.